What's up guys, Brian here, down in the Gecko Lab. Thank you for joining me, another weekly Hatchling report. This is my show where I tell you guys all kinds of stories and tidbits and what's going on in my life, as well as, in the reptile world I inhabit, as well as show you some of the cooler geckos that have hatched out here at Altitude Exotics recently. So first off, get into a couple things. I know I haven't been posting as many videos lately as I did through the summer and fall. There's a couple reasons for that. I got into it a little bit in last week's Hatchling video. A lot of it just had to do with how busy the sale was. I talked about that a lot in the last video. Part of it is also I'm doing some construction on my house. We're remodeling my bathroom, and that's been a bit of a nightmare. So we planned on doing this. We got all the supplies and planned on doing this like almost a year ago. So one of the things that I had purchased to do this bathroom was tile. We were gonna retile the floor and then like the walls around the shower, and we got everything done. The plumbing took a while to figure out, and the bathtub that we had to take out. My house is really old. It was built in the 50s, so the old bathtub we had to take out was like 400 pounds. It was so heavy. We could barely move it, but we got all that done. We got to where we're laying the tile. We got the floor tile in. That looked great, and then it got to the back tile around the tub, and I had ordered this tile like 10 months ago from Home Depot because we thought we were going to do it back then, and then the whole world fell apart in 2020. Well, when we went to open the tile to do the walls in my shower, we found out that of the 10 boxes of tile I ordered from Home Depot, 8 of them were the wrong color. And of course I ordered them 10 months ago, so I don't have an invoice or anything to prove to them that they screwed up my order and sent me 10 boxes, 8 of which are not even the right color tiles. So that was a pain. We had to push the whole thing. My stepdad came into town to help us redo this bathroom, and we couldn't get it done. So now I had to order more tile, and I'm crossing my fingers that it will be here like maybe today or tomorrow, I don't know, and we'll be able to get the bathroom done. Hopefully by the time this video actually goes up, you guys see it, my bathroom will be done and I'll be done with this madness. But that's been taking up a lot of my time. Of course, the sale was really hectic, and I've been working on a couple trips. God, you guys, I know I'm not the only one that's having this problem, but man, I miss traveling. I just miss traveling so bad. It's this first world problems. All this stuff with the pandemic is hitting people hard, and I fully understand how fortunate I am that one of the hardest ways it's hitting me is I haven't been able to travel in a year. And that's just so dumb that that's the worst thing I've had to go through. And I fully understand that. And I'm more than aware of how much suffering there is because of this pandemic. But I also am aware that I live in my world. And in my world, that's been one of the toughest things for me, is traveling is what fuels me. And I've been lucky that that's all I've had to deal with. But that is something I've had to deal with. Not the end of the world. I'm not going to sit here and sing my sob story to you. I've certainly been wildly lucky so far going through all this. However, I have started to make travel plans for 2021, and that's been taking up a lot of my time. The main one that I'm so excited about is I have got a trip booked to the Amazon. Now guys, I've wanted to go to the Amazon for like 15 years. This has always been my #1 bucket list when I travel. Like, I've got a list of things I want to do. This has been on the top of my list since I was in high school. Like, this is it for me. And half the reason I've never been there is I don't like touristy type traveling things, right? So I looked at trips to the Amazon for a long time. I was saving up because I wanted to go on a riverboat cruise on the Amazon. And I had a lot of trouble figuring out which one I wanted to do. This was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I was looking at these, and a lot of them, like, I'd find ones that were like small boats, not like a huge boat, right? Like a small river cruise boat, 7 or 8 cabins. So you're with 16 other people total, probably less than 20 people with crew on the whole boat. Sounds great. But then it's like, you're on the boat and you travel down river all day. And then it's like, oh, we stop and we go into the native village this one day is on the itinerary. And it's clearly, it's not a real native village. It's a fake native village that they set up, and the people put on the garb and act like they're natives just to try and get your money. I have no interest in that, I remember one I looked at, their big selling point was, and one night we go on a night walk through the jungle. It's like, I want to go on a night hike through the Amazon jungle. I don't want to do it on a super wide, well-manicured path that goes through the jungle and Beatrice with her walkers next to me, because that's who booked the cruise ship. I have no interest in that. That's not what I do. I want to be in the thick of it, like I want a machete and a backpack and hack my way into the jungle. I want to experience the Amazon, not just go to the Amazon. And that's a really hard thing to find. So between that and just, you know, having to save up for it and having to make the time for it, it's been a hard trip to do, because I knew if I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. Well, about a year ago, I finally found a company that does the kind of tour I want to do. The company is called Tamron Expeditions, and they run a research station on the Las Piedras River down in southeastern Peru in the Amazon basin, one of the most remote areas of jungle in the world. Up this river, out of a town called Puerto Maldonado, up the Las Piedras River. They've got a research station there. And they do tour groups out of there, but they're not super like over touristy, okay, we all walk down the safe path kind of tour groups. It's like you go there and you help the researchers. You do help them on a caiman study, do animal sightings and collections on what the ecological health of the caiman population is, like all kinds of cool stuff. They teach you about the Amazon. You go swim in the river, you do all this crazy stuff. So I found this company and I'm like, okay, so that looks like the kind of tour I want. Real like in the dirt, in the Amazon, learn about the forest, not be there in a protected tourist bubble and look at the forest. And then I saw they were doing a tour that really had me floored. It's called the Malinowski Expedition. So if this is the town I fly into, Puerto Maldonado, up the Las Piedras River, they have a research station here. And that's where a lot of the guys from like National Geographic go stay when they're filming things for the shows you watch on Nat Geo or Discovery or something like that. That's what that's for. And then they run tourist groups out of that research station. So the guys that run this station, they heard about up another river. There's another river, the Tombompata River, that goes this way, and then there's a tributary off of that goes back up north called the Malinowski River. And they had heard there was some illegal gold mining activity on that river. So if you guys don't know about illegal gold mining in the Amazon, the way it works is they basically clear cut and burn a section of forest down, which is bad. But it gets worse, because if you clear cut and burn the forest, it can grow back. But to extract the gold from the soil in the jungle, they infuse mercury in the soil to extract the gold, and then the soil is mercury poisoned and nothing will ever grow there again. Like, it's poisoned for thousands of years. It's one of the most destructive things you could possibly do. It's terrible what they do to the forest. So these guys heard about some gold mining going on up the Malinowski. The Malinowski is an uninhabited, unexplored river. Like there's no towns, no villages, no native tribes, nothing up this river. It's completely isolated, untouched jungle. So they hear about some illegal gold mining activity going up there. They go up there and find these guys just destroying the forest with this gold mine. And they go talk to them because they know these are not bad people. They're not evil people. They're not some evil henchman guy from a movie who just wants to destroy the Amazon. No, these are impoverished local people who are trying to scrape out a living for their families. So they go to them and they say, hey guys, we're jungle protectors. That's what we do. And you're trying to make a living, and I know you don't want to destroy the jungle, so let's come to an agreement. We are going to take over this portion of the river, this portion of jungle. We're interested in building another research station here. Let's shut your mind down. Let's stop destroying this beautiful, pristine wilderness, and we will pay you to be jungle protectors. We'll build a research station here, and we'll hire you guys to patrol this area of jungle that we're now going to protect, and you can keep out other gold miners, illegal loggers, poachers, and protect this beautiful piece of land. And of course the gold miners are more than happy to agree to this because, like I said, they're not bad people. They just are trying to provide for their families, and gold mining is one of the only opportunities they have. So they set up this agreement, they shut down the gold mines, and now they have this giant chunk of untouched, unexplored, uninhabited Amazon forest where they want to build a research station. But as of right now, there's nothing up there. Aside from a defunct old gold mine in the middle of nowhere, like there's just thousands of square miles of untouched Amazon, and they are going to send an expedition up there to go survey the land, survey the wildlife in the area, see what the ecology is like, how healthy is the ecosystem, how do the animals react, what kind of wildlife is there, all of that kind of stuff. Start carving hiking paths through the jungle to set up research stations and see different things. And that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to be a part of that expedition. And it's super exciting for me because, like I said, this is in the weeds kind of travel. This is what I love to do. I fly into Lima, and then it's a 4-hour flight down to Puerto Maldonado, this tiny little town. And then from there, it's an 8-hour boat ride up the river, up this uninhabited, untouched river. And then there's a sandbar where they think is a good spot to maybe build a research station. So we're going to go up there. There's nothing there. There's no hotel. There's no research station yet. There's literally nothing. We're going to go set up a temporary shelter on a sandbar and sleep in hammocks and hack our way through the jungle for a week and take notes and research what kind of animal life is there and do a full ecological survey and get a lay of the land and to start the process of protecting this forest. And I get to be one of the people that goes up there and does that. And it's kind of like the ideal kind of trip I want. Deep in the woods, uninhabited, super dangerous, no amenities, no Wi-Fi, no walls, no hotel, no nothing, just out in the middle of the Amazon. I have been waiting for this forever. I was supposed to go in April, and that got canceled because of the pandemic. They moved it to October, and the borders to Peru were still closed, so we couldn't do it then. They've now moved it. The borders are open. They are fully in belief that this trip is going to happen this time. I'm set to fly out of Denver on January 4th, and I will be there for about 12 days or so. I'm going to be out in the Amazon. So it's been hard because I'm trying to cram all the planning into that kind of last minute because we weren't sure if this trip was actually going to happen until recently. But I got it all set up. I got my travel insurance, got my flights booked. I got another jungle resort I'm going to stay at for a couple nights after the Malinowski tour ends, just to spend as much time in the Amazon as I can. Of course, I'm going to bring a little bit of video gear and all my camera gear, and I will have a bunch of videos and pictures to share with you guys when I get back. I'll tell you all about it. I got a lot of stuff coming. I got some other ideas, some other really, really cool ideas that I'm super excited to share with you guys. I'm hoping I can get all the details on that sorted soon. I had like a million things on my plate the last couple of weeks, so there's a lot going on. But enough of that. Let's get into some gecko talk. You guys come here for the geckos. I'm here for the geckos, and then you show up and, you know, I ramble on for 20 minutes. I appreciate it, but let's get into the geckos. These ones are a couple weeks old now. This is a lot of stuff that's catching up from the Thanksgiving break kind of that I took in video making. So these geckos are a couple weeks old, but this is going to be our weekly hatchling report. Geckos, first off, we're going to start with a nice ink spot. I always love sharing these because, as you guys know, they start off so bland compared to how they look at adults. This guy has lots of big black spots, really beautiful color, nice faint tiger markings. I expect this one to be a bright orange ink spot. Spot wise, it's always hard to tell when they're little how they're going to grow up, but I expect this one to be kind of in that B to B plus range. Pretty nice ink spot Dalmatian. Next up, this one honestly is not that special, but it's sentimental to me, and I want to tell you guys why. Nice red Harlequin. This one comes out of Spearhead and Wildfire. The reason this one's special to me is I had Spearhead and Wildfire together as a breeding pair for a long time. I think 5 or 6 years they bred here for me, and I sold both of those geckos. They're both with new owners now, and I'm really excited that they're with new owners, and I'm excited to see what they produce for those people, to see what else comes out of them. But it is a bit bittersweet because I had them for so long and they've produced so many nice hatchlings for me, and this is going to be one of the last that I ever hatch from them. So, you know, that's kind of bittersweet, but I had to share that with you guys because I love those two. Next up, I did have an axanthic hatch out. I really like on this one, those white tips on its crest, really nice. Now, I've always told you guys when I show you axanthics in these videos, when they have white on their dorsal, I tell you as they grow, it fades out. Well, this one's a couple weeks old now, and you can already see that white pattern on its dorsal starting to fade out. You can see a little bit of it left and some light gray areas where they used to be white. Eventually, that will all kind of fade out and it'll be solid gray, but those white tips on the crest will stay, so I like that. Next up, I have two Godzilla and Maryland offspring. Now, these ones are ones that I'm super excited to watch grow up because, as you can see, this first one, both of them, but especially this first one, have Maryland's really light base color, which I absolutely love. This one also has Maryland's big black spots, of course, because those are the first to come in. The red spots generally don't come in until the geckos are 8, 9, 10, 12 grams, and that range is when those red spots really start to come out. So I'm very curious to watch these ones grow over the next 6-8 months and see if they get those big red spots like Godzilla does, because I really want to see those big red spots on a light yellow gecko. I think that would be fantastic. Next up, a Blizzard offspring. Blizzard is a nice drippy dorsal. He was one of my first drippy dorsal pinstripe males, so he always produces really nice stuff. This one's got really cool pattern, really big head. Both of those are very indicative of Blizzard offsprings, and these are fun to watch because you never know if they're going to get that drippy dorsal trait, but when they do, man, they look good. And lastly, I have one more Axanthic. This one's a bit younger, so you can see the dorsal pattern. The other one that I showed you looked a lot like this when it first hatched. This one, the white pattern on the dorsal, has not faded away yet, but it will as it grows older. Also real nice structure on this one. A little more pinning, so those white pins will stay. This one will be a really cool partial pinstripe Axanthic as it grows up. That'll be a fun one to watch as well. That's all I got for you in the way of geckos today, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me and listening to me ramble. Please, in the comments down below, let me know what is your favorite place you've traveled. Do you like traveling? If so, where's your favorite place you've been? I'm always looking for new places, new experiences, new things to go see, and hopefully we can start traveling again here regularly soon. So more news on that coming up. Let me know where you like to go in the comments. As always, stay safe, be kind. I love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.